Just doing an audio check. Can anybody hear me?
Hi, Ken Ross.
Awesome. Hi, everybody.
Yep, we can hear you.
Cool.
Can you guys hear my daughter playing Smoke on the Water on her guitar behind me?
I can't.
I can't either. I wish I could though.
Tell her to turn it up.
She's pretty new. I don't actually think you want to hear it.
How you doing, Ross?
I'm good, Gene.
Good.
Things are busy, but good.
I bet they are.
Yeah. I'm sorry that we don't have time that I don't have more time. We should try to find some time to go to lunch sometime and catch up.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And Gene, just so you know, I'm still working on getting my cat fully trained in using the toilet at home. We have a cat, and so far it's going pretty well. She's using it, but I'm still working on the training progress.
You know it's going to be a great day of committee meetings when you log in and the first thing you hear is Ross talking about training his cat. That is the best. That is the best, Ross.
Thanks, Brian. It's an important news in the wastewater world of my family.
We have a cat, so if when you are successful, please, I hope you will distribute a memo.
You bet. Yeah.
Actually, YouTube video would be better.
Definitely.
Now, Brian, you're talking to engineers, so I think we need a step-by-step instructional manual on how to train your cat.
I'd like schematics also with plan view, other views.
You know what?
And we'll have that as a committee item for
Yeah,
the public to benefit.
I take council requests for information very seriously, Brian.
I thought that only happened in Meet the Parents.
No, apparently it's a real thing. Yeah. I'm working on it.
Katie and Ashley, are we good to go? It looks like we're live, and I just want to make sure we are ready.
I believe we are ready to start.
Okay.
Although I'm
30, so I'm gonna wait.
Jeremy.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to call the Public Works Committee to order. First and foremost, we continue to meet via Zoom webinar due to the pandemic. And if you are joining us today via Zoom webinar and would like to provide public comment on an agenda item or an item not on the agenda, please use your raise and lower hand feature to raise your hand and I'll call on you to provide comment. If you are by phone, you can raise and lower your hand by pressing *9 and *6 to mute and unmute yourself. You can always provide comments on a specific item on the agenda. You can call and leave a voice message for the entire City Council. That number is 406-552-6012. And you can always email us at council@ci.missoula.mt.us. With that, our first item, well, first let's do a roll call, please. Ashley.
Anderson,
Present.
Becerra,
Present.
Contos,
Here.
Harp,
Present.
Hess, Jones,
Present.
Merritt,
Present.
Ramos,
Here.
Cheryl,
Present.
Vasika,
Present.
Von Lossberg,
Here.
West.
Here.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Ashley. So next we have approval of minutes. We have minutes from January 13th. Are there any amendments to the minutes? Okay, seeing none, those will stand approved. And public comments, I see one person, Jamie Erbacher. Jamie, are you here to provide public comment?
I'm here for one of the agenda items.
Great, thank you. Great. Okay. So our first business item is a service agreement with 2G Energy, and Jean Connell is here to present. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Gene Connell, Resource Recovery Facility Superintendent. I'd like to recommend renewal of a service agreement with 2G Energy for our cogeneration unit here at the facility, not to exceed $80,000 a year. The cogen unit is a part of Missoula's Conservation and Climate Action Plan, and it's coming to fruition. In 2020, we generated 1.4 gigawatts of energy from biogas here at the facility. That electricity is worth about $114,000. And if you include demand charges, it has a value of about $130,000. 2G is the only authorized service provider for this piece of equipment. And the service agreement contains a 92% uptime guarantee. And if the machine isn't running, it's not doing us any good.
Great. Thank you, Jean. Are there any questions from council members on this item? Seeing none, anyone would like to? Amber?
I was just going to say that I'd be happy to make the recommended motion.
Great. Thank you.
Mirta, this is Heather. I didn't move fast enough. Dean, I was wondering if I could ask a question of you. So if the cogen isn't working, what's our plan B?
If the cogen isn't working, well, of course, then we use energy off the grid. And we would need to find another way to get it running. And it's a pretty sophisticated piece of equipment. There are some local generator maintenance firms, but they do not specialize in this particular piece of equipment, burning biogas. And it could be difficult to find a fix, if that answers your question.
So we kind of have a plan B, just using our other utility mechanism.
Correct.
instead of using
Oh,
cogen. Okay.
yes.
All right. All right, and is it more effective than using our cogen?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, using our cogen is very efficient, and it uses our biogas, which is essentially free gas here at the facility.
I will second Amber's motion.
Great. Julie?
To follow up on Heather's question, so Jean, what happens to that methane that's being produced if we can't burn it in the cogen plant?
We can burn some of it in our plant boilers to recover heat. They're not very efficient, and on an annual basis, we were doing that, and we were recovering about or burning about half of the biogas we produce, because in July we have very low heat demand, and so we flare it off. So it's not methane being released; it's at least CO2. But we're not utilizing that resource very well. But with the cogen, our goal is to approach 100% utilization of that resource.
So would it be correct to say that this both saves us money that we don't spend on other sources of power, and it prevents additional CO2 from being released into the atmosphere?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
And Jean, we renew this agreement every year and a half, is that right? Or every year?
Every year.
Every year, okay. I don't see any more questions, and we have a motion on the floor. So can we take a roll call vote, please, Ashley?
Anderson,
Yes.
Becerra,
Yes.
Contos,
Yes.
Harp,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Merritt,
Yes.
Ramos,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Vasika,
Yes.
Von Lossberg,
Yes.
West.
Yes.
That's 11 yeses.
Great, thank you. And thank you, Jean, for bringing this forward and making sure everything is running the way it should.
Thank you.
Okay, our next item is a resolution to order 2020 miscellaneous curb and sidewalk improvements, project 2020-001, and Monty Sipe is here to present. Go ahead, Monty.
Yeah, thank you. Monty Sipe, Construction Project Manager with Public Works and Mobility. So this is our annual resolution on to order our miscellaneous curb and sidewalk improvements parcels. So these are voluntary, or these are parcels that want to make use of our city curb and sidewalk finance program. So the way that works is they complete the improvements and we obtain an assessment agreement from the property owner once the work is completed, and then pay the contractors on the owner's behalf. And then in the spring, summer of each year, we do a bond sale to offset those costs, and then the proceeds from that bond sale pay back what we paid out to the contractor. So this year there were 2 parcels that made use of this. They were both permit required curb and sidewalk installations, one up on Simons or Polaris off of Higgins, or off of Hillview, and then the new tap house down on the corner of Livingston and South Higgins. So that's about it.
Great, thank you. Any questions from council members? Heather.
A little faster that time. Thanks, Marta. So Monty, I'm kind of curious, with these kinds of requests from community members, how often does that happen over the course of a year?
It varies substantially from year to year. This year we only had two requests. I think last year we had approximately 20. So it really varies from year to year, and just depending on the property owner's choice to finance, whether it's through the city or somebody else. We've had some years where we've had very large assessments. I know Tremper Shopping Center, when they went through their remodels and they did a lot of curb and sidewalk work around that shopping center, I think they were assessing close to $1 million. So it
Okay.
varies substantially from year to year.
And Monty, do you find that this is the most effective process in terms of trying to get that sidewalk in place for these particular folks?
Well, this isn't ordered through the city. So these are triggered, anybody that wanted to install curb and sidewalk voluntarily can make use of the financing. A lot of folks, when we get hazardous sidewalk complaints and we send out letters to property owners to address a hazardous sidewalk, sometimes we provide information to them on this financing. And so sometimes they'll make use of that option. And then these two particular properties were permit triggered. They had to do installation of curb and or sidewalk as part of their project. The one up on Polaris didn't have existing curb and sidewalk. Well, they had curb but not sidewalk. And then the tap house on the corner of Higgins and Livingston had to pretty much rework most of that corner with new curb and sidewalk installation. So it's an option available to folks. We always encourage them to consider other options, from a local lender or something, but this is one mechanism the city provides, and the rates are pretty good on these. So
That's what I recall. Your mention of hazardous sidewalks just kind of reminded me that I think all property owners have that responsibility to maintain their sidewalks, and it's not necessarily the city's job to do it. So I appreciate that we have a financing mechanism that makes it more affordable for folks to be able to do the maintenance that they should be doing to protect everyone. So I guess for those hazardous sidewalks, is there perhaps another way we should be addressing those concerns that is different from what we're talking about today with new sidewalks?
Are you asking pertaining to the financing or just the hazardous sidewalk program itself?
The hazardous program itself.
Yeah, so our hazardous sidewalk program is it's generally complaint driven. So, inside our city curb sidewalk ordered projects, when we develop a project to present it to council for consideration, it's usually a larger area. And then we go and inventory all that work. And so we address and identify those hazardous sidewalks, broken, deteriorated sidewalk, and address that in our curb sidewalk order. This particular miscellaneous parcels is for those that are outside of our annual program. And so our hazardous sidewalks complaint driven, where we receive a complaint into the front desk and they enter that into Excel automation. And then myself or our staff go out and investigate it. We send out a hazardous sidewalk letter and we give them a certain amount of time to address that. And then we also provide this financing information as part of that letter. And then we just follow up and track that. So we don't, it's not like we're out there regularly just hawking hazardous sidewalk and documenting it and sending out letters. So that's kind of the hazardous sidewalk program.
Thank you.
Brian,
Do you need a motion, Mirza?
I do, thanks.
Yeah, I'll make the motion and just briefly, thanks for the information, Monty. And I think it's just worth reminding folks this is just a financing option we provide people for work they select to do. So,
Yeah.
Thanks.
And I would add, beyond that, so basically they elect an 8, 12, or 20-year term, and and that's how they pay it back over those terms. We also have a low-income deferral program for folks that aren't able to even meet that, those payments on 8, 12, or 20, whereby they can defer the total cost until the time of the sale of the home. So that's another option that we have out there. It gives some flexibility for those that can't even really meet those minimum payments on a biannual basis.
And Monty, in the case of one of these, or maybe both, sidewalk installation was triggered because of a building permit, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, great. So we have a motion on the floor. Quickly, I'm going to see if there's any public comment. I see two people, Monkey Bar Jim. I'm assuming that's Heather Mike Mylan, but if there's any comment, please raise your hand. Seeing none. Ashley, if we can do a roll call vote, please.
Anderson,
Yes.
Becerra,
Yes.
Contos,
Yes.
Harp,
Yes.
Hess,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Merritt,
Yes.
Ramos,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Bazika,
Yes.
Von Lossberg,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
and that is 12 yeses.
Great. Thank you. So these two will be on the consent agenda. Thank you, Monty.
Yep, thanks.
And we move now to item 3.3. That's a development agreement with Homeward Incorporated for the Trinity Project, Mullen Road, Maple Street surface improvement. And Kevin Slovarp is here to present.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
All right. So I'm asking council to approve a development agreement with Homeward for the Trinity Project on Mullen Road, more specifically related to Maple Street surface improvements, curb, gutter, boulevard, landscaping, and sidewalk improvements for in support of a large affordable housing development that is being developed on Mullen Road. And I'll share my screen real quick to show you where this property is located. So can folks see the aerial picture that I have up? And so it's this property here being developed adjacent to the Missoula County Detention Facility and Dollar rental car over here to the east. I'm gonna go ahead and not share my screen if I can get back to it. Don't seem to be able to get back to it readily. Thank you, appreciate that. Okay, so to continue, the city had included within its CIP program the funds to contribute to this, again, affordable housing project. We included within our CIP, we generally have a third of a project cost of assessments, a third in road district, and a third in BARSA. To basically the road district and BARSA funds would essentially cover the applicable road improvements and also support the assessment that would be assessed to Dollar in this instance. We have the project funds available. The development agreement basically allows the city to contribute to this project. And by contributing these funds now to the developer, the city is benefiting from this public-private partnership by much needed physical improvements to Maple Street, which will allow pedestrian access to Broadway from the development more quickly than the city could have programmed the work. And so the improvements will support the development and aid in the overall development project, and be a benefit to users, primarily the residents of the development. And so that's what I wanted to present, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Great. Thank you, Kevin. Any questions from council members? I see Gwen Jones. Go ahead.
Actually, I just wanted to go ahead and make the motion on this. I'm hugely supportive of the Trinity project. It's just going to be such a good impact in terms of helping some of the most vulnerable in our population, and happy to make the motion, which is basically the agreement with Homeward, which they're a great organization in town. So thanks for presenting, Kevin. And I think it's great that we can, this is such a big project. It really takes bits and pieces from here and there. So if we can contribute on this end to help with some of this infrastructure, it's great.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. And I completely agree and support this agreement as well. Julie.
So I guess wanted to ask Kevin to reiterate, the sidewalk project that would be covered with these funds is something that the city was contemplating doing anyway. Is that true?
That's true. And so the assessment portion of this work, had we actually ordered it, is being paid by Homeward. So it's they are paying basically a third of the amount of the improvements.
Okay. Oh, that's great. And so I kind of speaks to my follow-up question, if I may, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
So how is there, in addition to the Homeward paying a portion of it, is there a cost savings that we realize because this is being done as a part of a larger project where, you know, the equipment and stuff like that will already be mobilized?
Yes. So Homeward will actually hire the contractor and do the work, which again is part of that larger project, and there'll be a benefit to city for cost savings. In addition, we're likely not to get to this project within the near term, and so the costs that we're contemplating putting into this project would save inflationary money too.
Excellent. Thanks.
Great questions. And going to public comment, and I see, go ahead, Monkey Bar.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you for putting up with my tech issues with my iPhone. But long story short, this is Heather McMillan with Homeward, and also Monkey Bar. If you want to come play in the park, that's where I'm sitting right now. The reason I wanted to jump on, I just wanted to, you guys had great questions and great context. This is a unique implementation of the housing policy. I mean, this project came in while we'd all worked really hard on some policy pieces, but one of the goals was to prioritize city funds in unique ways in partnership to be able to bring these projects to fruition. And so, you know, this was our effort to help promote that policy, but also to find every scrap of dollar we could find for the project. So what it does is a couple of things. One, it, you know, kind of sets a precedent. It gets the work done in advance of the city having to do it. The city doesn't have to do the work, our contractor will. And with us matching the funds in the project, you know, we get the work done. It came because of the donation of the parcel and was triggered by minor subdivision. And so we had to do this work. We didn't want to put it on dollar because of the donation we received working with the county. And so it was just a win to be able to prioritize some funds into the project, and then the money comes into our project and we can lever it into the tax credit project where it generates a bit more equity from the investor. And that is not the time to talk about it now, but if you ever want to do a brown bag and understand how tax credit equity works and how we take your guys' money and turn it into a bigger bang for the buck, I'm happy to sit down and do that. But just know that we really appreciate city staff. They were planning on implementing housing policy, and we basically forced them to get really creative with us and in a short turnaround time. So I applaud Kevin and Ross and everybody's efforts to work with us on this. And I think it's just a really good partnership overall. And hopefully it expands the capacity for you all to do sidewalk work and things in other parts of the city. And we can get it done with our crew that's going to already be on site. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them. And again, apologies for the tech issues, but hopefully I see you guys soon.
Thanks, Heather. No worries. I see Brian. Go ahead.
Yeah, just really briefly, I just wanted to thank Heather for taking the time to join the meeting and provide that context. I was keenly interested in what she was going to say, so I'm glad that we were able to work it out to get those comments, and it's super helpful, very supportive.
Great. Heather.
The other Heather at today's table. Heather, I just want to say thank you for bringing this project forward, and to all of our staff team to make this a reality. I think what we are really truly witnessing, and I know I kind of repeat myself on this, but this is a fantastic example of a trifecta across sectors coming together for the good of all. And this is the kind of leverage that we dream about actually happening, and really trying to make best use of our public dollars along with, I know, our private sector comrades. So congratulations, everybody, on this really very important work.
Great. Amber.
I really just want to echo what Brian and Heather said and thank everyone for this project. It is a really great project. And I think Gwen articulated that in her motion as well. Heather, thank you. These tax credits are really complicated things. I've done 2 brown bag lunches with people I know already, trying to understand them more fully. And I'm not sure that was enough, but I appreciate that we have the expertise of all the people at the table right now to get a project like this done and leverage the money that we put into it. So.
Great. Yeah, I think learning about how all that functions is another career in itself. So thank you for everyone who's taken the time to learn it and execute it to the best of their abilities in our community. And thank you to all the staff for working on this and making it happen. I believe that the sooner we can get this project going, the sooner we can help people who are in real need of this service. So thanks, everyone. And we have a motion on the floor. So let's go ahead and take a roll call vote, please.
Anderson,
Yes.
Becerra,
Yes.
Contos,
Yes.
Harp,
Yes.
Hess,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Merritt,
Yes.
Yes.
Ramos, Cheryl,
Yes.
Vasika,
Yes.
Von Lossberg,
Yes.
West.
Yes.
And that is 12 yeses.
Great. Thank you very much. And thank you, Kevin, for bringing this item to committee, and it'll be on the consent agenda.
Mayor, so we indulge me for 2 more seconds.
Sure,
This is
go ahead.
Heather. I just wanted to commit to you all. I know this is a committee meeting in Public Works, but we will come back. We're working closely to get the financing package closed at the end of February. And once all that's tidied up, we'll come back and give you guys an overall update of timeline, but we're really close. And I can't echo enough city staff's work there are a lot of moving parts on this project, and I have forgotten to thank Jeremy and a lot of other people in the room. So thank you so much. And like I said, we'll come back and give you guys an update when things are all tidied up.
Great. Look forward to it. Thanks, Heather.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, that was our last item on the agenda. However, we have a couple of minutes and there's one announcement that we have to make, and I would like to give the opportunity to Jeremy Keene to do that. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Thanks, Marta. Jeremy Keene, Director for Public Works and Mobility. I just wanted to give you a quick update on some changes in Public Works. As you all know, Dennis Bowman has been a pillar in Public Works ever since we acquired the water system. He was instrumental in helping us transition after the acquisition and has continued to be dedicated to the management and care of the system. He was a huge help to me in coming on board with the city and was a mentor and really helped me understand how we can work across different divisions and other departments to really be effective carrying out the city's mission. Dennis has contemplated retirement over the past year. He stayed on through the pandemic, largely out of a sense of duty to all of us and to the utility and to the citizens and customers that we serve. Last month, Dennis took some personal time to evaluate, and last week he informed us that he is going to retire effective at the end of January. So we, obviously those are very big shoes to fill. Dennis is frankly not replaceable, but he's left us a good template with how to move forward, and we have some capable staff to, start to fill those holes. Ross Mullenhauer is currently serving as our interim Deputy Director for Public Works and the Utilities. And we're looking to start a recruitment for that position in the next few weeks. We're going to have a small socially distanced send-off tomorrow at 2:00 at the Water Building. Please feel free to stop by if you'd like. We will look to do a proper celebration later in the summer, hopefully, when we can all get together and have a real gathering. But I just wanted to let you know that was happening, and please join me in thanking Dennis for his service and wishing him well in the next chapter of his life.
Thank you, Jeremy. Yes, you said it really well. He's not going to be replaced, but I think that, like you said, he left a good legacy and a good template, and I will miss him. I'm sure many of us will. So, and thank you, Ross, for stepping up and, continuing to provide the services that the utility provides. So with that, any council comments? Amber.
I just wanted to say briefly, first, thank you, Ross, for stepping up. That's great. I appreciate that we have talent. We have a depth of talent there, and that you were willing to. So thank you. And I do feel like we've been trying to, convince Dennis to stay maybe longer than he wanted to stay. So thank you to him too for his service, and the next chapter, good for him, sad for us, but really appreciate Ross that you're willing to step up and you're there and will take the mantle.
Thanks, Amber. Yeah, I'm happy to pitch in, and I think everyone around here is going to miss Dennis a lot. So, yeah.
Heather.
Yes, Ross, congratulations on the temporary interim promotion, if you will. I was wondering if you just had any words that you wanted to share with us in terms of what you kind of would like to kind of leave as your thumbprints all over this map.
Oh man, right now I feel like we're just letting the dust settle. And I'd say, I'm getting a lot of help from Katie, Emery, and Allison Siegel. I'd say the three of us, and Logan McGinnis, and Jerry Ellis, and everyone here. I think there's a pretty strong team here, and we just need to maintain that team and keep moving the same direction that Dennis was taking us before. So I keep asking myself, what would Dennis do? But it's only been really the last week that I started to think about what it means that Dennis is not coming back. So I don't know if I have any solid answers for that yet, but I'm happy to think about it.
I will tell.
Yeah.
Welcome aboard.
Thanks.
Gwen.
Thanks. I just wanted to, I don't know if Dennis Bowman is watching or not, but I think we all wanted to say thank you to him for his incredible service. And I will never forget being on council when we were still in the condemnation case, and we were getting really close and I was starting to lose sleep over what would happen if we were able to acquire the water company and we didn't have good people in place to run it the next morning after acquisition, because water, of course, is so critical. And Dennis was incredibly, he was a linchpin. He stepped up at the right time and came in and threw his support behind the city, and really is a huge part of why it was a smooth transition and successful. And so I hope Dennis hears this, and I will be eternally grateful to him for his wisdom in that situation and knowing when to step up and step forward. And he was great. So thank you, Dennis. And I hope you get some good fly fishing in out there.
Yeah, I think Dennis was instrumental in a smooth transition with the water acquisition. And one of the things that I have truly admired about him is his ability to continue to move the city forward, but not forgetting that there are many customers that can be affected by changes. So top of mind for him was also how the people that we serve, and I really commend them on. And before I forget, I also want to say thank you to Katie Emery. Thank you, Katie, because I know that you have been tremendous help to keep everything afloat. Stacy.
Thanks so much, Mirta. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just want to echo what everyone is saying and the thanks we have for Dennis and just how critical he was. The acquisition of the water was the right thing to do, but it was a leap of faith on the city's part as well in some respects, and it has gone better than I think our most optimistic dreams for it have been. And I think obviously that the staff all there is great, and they really reflect Dennis's leadership, and his can-do spirit and the way that he is constantly sort of always balancing the resources and understanding the customers, and that just real true call to service that he has, and his spirit. And he's just, and he's really fun to be around. I always know that when he would come and present, he just had this amiable spirit around him. So I'm sure he was very fun to work with, and he will be missed dearly. And I actually literally have this little sticky note sitting on my desk. That's a Dennis quote that has been sitting here for quite some time. And just, it's because he, every once in a while would just drop these little gems. And I one time wrote it down, and it's been sitting here on my desk for quite some time. So what does it say? It says, we always need to balance between affordable housing and affordable living.
Yep.
So, and I think that was incredibly well said, and something that he was constantly working on, and we should all strive to do that. So, and Ross, I know that I'm just thankful that you are there, and we're excited to continue to work with you, and we can have a plaque made for you that says, "What would Dennis do?" So if you need, just reach out.
Thanks, Stacey. That sounds great.
Brian.
Yeah, I can't put it any better than Gwen and Stacy did already, but Gwen said that Dennis might be watching this, so I can't not take the opportunity to quickly say thank you. Repeat, I'll be writing Dennis a private note of thanks, and Ross, total confidence in you and all of the folks there. So really pleased that you're there. So thanks.
And Jordan.
Yeah, I can't add beyond what others have said, but I want to say that Dennis was throughout the tail end of the condemnation process, as Dennis became our first public employee from the water system. His counsel, his expertise, his good nature, all of that was absolutely invaluable in bringing the water system into public ownership. Since that time, it's been a real joy and delight to get to know and to get to work with all of the professionals at Missoula Water, but Dennis was really a wonderful person to work with in that capacity, and he will be missed. And Ross, you really happy to continue to work with you, and looking forward to seeing where that leads us. Thanks, everyone.
Great. Yeah, so if Dennis is watching, great, but please don't watch every committee meeting. Okay, with that, anything else, Jeremy or anyone? No? Okay, seeing nothing else, that was it for Public Works, and we would be adjourned. Thank